Throughout all of human history, we have been obsessed with forbidden knowledge. Ancient mysteries locked away in secret libraries, dusty tomes bound in iron and leather, promising immense power, untold wealth, and the secrets of the universe itself. Most of these are just the stuff of legend. But what if I told you that one of these books is not a story? It's a technical manual, a step-by-step real guide to summoning demons. In this video, we are opening the most infamous grimoire in history, the Ars Goetia. I will show you the real pages from this 17th century book, the hierarchy of Hell's 72 kings, dukes, and princes, their bizarre appearances and strange powers, and the exact rituals described to conjure them from the abyss. This is one of the darkest ancient mysteries we have ever decoded. To understand the book, we must first understand the world that created it. The 17th century was an age of profound contradiction. On one hand, it was the dawn of the scientific revolution. Minds like Galileo and Newton were using logic and observation to map the heavens and uncover the physical laws of the universe. It was an age of reason, of classification, of a belief that everything, no matter how complex, could be understood and categorized. But on the other hand, this was also an age of deep, unshakable faith and immense superstition. It was the era of the great witch hunts, where thousands were executed for consorting with the devil. It was a time when the supernatural was not a fantasy. It was a real, tangible force that could influence daily life. The devil and his demons were believed to be actively at war with God for the souls of humanity. This created a unique intellectual climate. The new tools of reason and classification were not just applied to stars and insects. The greatest minds of the age also applied them to the supernatural. They didn't just believe in demons, they studied them. This was the birth of demonology, the science of evil, an attempt to list, categorize, and understand the armies of hell, just as a general would study an opposing army. And the textbooks for this dark science were known as grimoires. The word grimoire shares the same root as our modern word grammar. Both referred to a system of rules. But these were not rules for language. They were instructional manuals, recipe books for the supernatural. They contain spells, instructions for creating talismans, and most importantly, detailed catalogs of supernatural beings and how to contact them. Of all the grimoires ever written, one stands above the rest in its detail, its complexity, and its terrifying ambition. A book that claims to be a complete directory of Hell's ruling class. The most famous of all grimoires is a text known as the Limmageton Clavicula Salomonis, or the Lesser Key of Solomon. Its legend is as grand as its name. It claims to be the work of King Solomon himself, the legendary biblical king renowned for his incredible wisdom, his wealth, and his power over the supernatural. The story goes that Solomon's great wisdom was a gift from an angel of God, who also gave him a magical ring that allowed him to command an army of demons to build his great temple in Jerusalem. According to the legend, Solomon used his power to summon and interrogate 72 of the most powerful princes and ministers of hell. He learned all of their secrets, their abilities, their weaknesses, and the rituals required to control them. He then bound them all within a brass vessel, sealed it with magical symbols, and cast it into a deep lake in Babylon. But centuries later, the Babylonians, believing the vessel contained a great treasure, dredged it up and broke the seal, unleashing the 72 demons back into the world. The Lesser Key of Solomon, the legend claims, is the only surviving copy of Solomon's personal instruction manual on how to recapture and command these infernal spirits. Of course, modern historians believe the book was not written by Solomon, but was compiled much later, likely in the 17th century, from a collection of older texts and myths. But that does not diminish its importance. The Lesser Key of Solomon is divided into 5 parts, and the first, most infamous section is the one we will now decode, the Ars Goetia. This is the complete catalogue, the who's who of Hell's 72 most powerful spirits, a field guide to the infernal. The core of the Ars Goetia is its meticulously detailed catalogue of 72 infernal spirits. This isn't just a list of random monsters, it's a meticulously organized directory of Hell's power structure. According to the grimoire, Hell is not a chaotic abyss, but a highly structured feudal kingdom with a clear hierarchy of command. Think of it like a dark cosmic military, where each demon holds a specific rank, commands legions of lesser spirits, and possesses distinct powers. The ranks described in the Ars Goetia mirror those of earthly nobility and military, but with a sinister twist. You have the kings of hell, the most powerful, commanding vast legions. Then there are the dukes, lesser in power, but still formidable, ruling over provinces of the damned. Below them are princes, marquises, counts, and presidents, each with their own domain and their own unique set of abilities. Each of these 72 demons has a specific sigil, a magical symbol that acts as their personal seal or signature. This sigil is crucial for the summoning ritual, as it represents their true name and power. The book even details the number of legions each spirit commands, ranging from just a few for the lower ranks to many dozens for the great kings. This is Hell, categorized and codified, a dark mirror of human ambition and order. Now that we understand the hierarchy, it is time to open the forbidden files. We will now decode the dossiers of 4 of the most powerful and bizarre spirits listed in the Ars Goetia. Each with their own name, their own sigil, their own appearance, and their own unique price for their services. First, the first principal spirit, a king ruling in the east, Bael. The grimoire warns that he appears in many forms, sometimes as a cat, sometimes as a toad, and sometimes as a man. And sometimes he appears with all three heads at once on a single grotesque body. He speaks with a hoarse voice, and his primary power is to grant the user the gift of invisibility. King Bael commands 66 legions of infernal spirits. Next, the second spirit, a duke, Agares. His appearance is a deception. He manifests as a mild, gentle-looking old man riding slowly on the back of a crocodile with a goshawk perched upon his fist. He seems harmless, but his powers are immense and chaotic. The grimoire states he can cause earthquakes at will. He teaches all languages and tongues instantly. He has the power to destroy dignities, both spiritual and temporal, meaning he can ruin the reputation and status of any person. And he can also make runaways return. He governs 31 legions. Perhaps the most bizarre in appearance is the 10th spirit, a great president, Buer. He has no humanoid body. Instead, he is described as the head of a lion, with 5 goat legs radiating from his neck. He moves by cartwheeling, spinning forward in a terrifying, unnatural motion. But in a classic demonic paradox, this monstrous being is a teacher of profound knowledge. Buer teaches moral and natural philosophy, the art of logic, and the virtues and healing properties of all herbs and plants. He can also heal all distempers in man and provide good familiars.
The Ars Goetia is not a book of stories, it is a book of instructions. It presents the art of summoning as a precise, almost scientific procedure, a spiritual technology for commanding the supernatural. The ritual begins long before any demon is called. The magician, or exorcist as the book calls them, must first achieve a state of purity. This involves days of fasting, prayer, and ritual bathing to cleanse the body and soul, making them worthy of commanding divine power. Next, the tools must be crafted and consecrated. These are not mere props, they are instruments of power. A hazel wand, a magical sword, and most importantly, the protective talismans. The most powerful of these is the secret seal of Solomon, a complex diagram that must be worn upon the chest, acting as a shield to protect the magician from the fury of the spirits they intend to summon. Each tool is created with specific materials at specific astrological times and inscribed with the holy names of God.
When the preparations are complete, the ritual itself begins. The magician first draws a great magic circle on the floor. This is not just a circle, it is a fortress of divine names. The space between its concentric lines is meticulously filled with the names of God and powerful angels, creating a sacred barrier that no demonic force can cross. Then, outside of this circle, the magician draws a second, smaller shape, the triangle of art. This is the manifestation zone, a magical holding cell. It is within this triangle that the demon will be commanded to appear. The magician never leaves the safety of their circle, but the demon is forced into the triangle. The ritual must be performed at the correct astrological time, with the correct incense burning. The magician, armed with their consecrated tools and protected by their talismans, steps into the circle and begins the conjurations. They recite long, powerful incantations, commanding the spirit by the names of God, first politely, then more forcefully, until the room grows cold. Strange sounds are heard, and a form begins to coalesce within the smoke-filled triangle. The book warns that the spirit will often appear first in a terrifying, monstrous form. The magician must then use the power of the talismans and divine names to command it to take a more pleasing, humanoid shape before the interrogation can begin. We have seen the bizarre forms, the complex hierarchy, and the detailed rituals of the Ars Goetia. But one final profound mystery remains. Where did these 72 demons actually come from? Are they truly the fallen angels from the biblical war in heaven? Or is the truth something far more complex? Something rooted in the brutal history of human belief itself. As scholars began to decode the names and attributes of these spirits, a startling pattern emerged. Many of Hell's most powerful nobles were not originally from Hell at all. They were the gods of older civilizations. This process is known as demonization. As monotheistic religions like early Judaism and later Christianity expanded, they did not simply ignore the powerful gods of their neighbors and enemies. To prove their god was the one true God, they absorbed the pagan deities into their own cosmology, but demoted them. Rival gods were rebranded as demonic, their names corrupted, their powers twisted into sinister parodies of their former glory. Let's look at the evidence. The 29th spirit of the Goetia is Astaroth, a powerful duke who appears as a hurtful angel riding an infernal dragon. But his name is a clear corruption of Astarte, the great Phoenician and Mesopotamian goddess of fertility, love, and war, a deity once worshipped across the entire ancient Near East. A powerful goddess, a rival to the God of Abraham, was transformed into a male demon.
The pattern continues. The very first and most powerful king of hell listed in the Goetia, Bael, is a corruption of Baal, the primary rival deity to the God of the Israelites in the Old Testament. Baal was a powerful Canaanite god of storms, fertility, and agriculture. The Bible is filled with stories of prophets fighting against the worship of Baal. In the grimoire, this once mighty god is reduced to a grotesque monster with 3 heads. Even the noble phoenix was not safe. The 37th spirit is Marquis Phoenix, a demon who appears as a beautiful phoenix bird, sings with a sweet voice, and teaches all the wonderful sciences. The authors of the grimoire took a powerful pagan symbol of rebirth and divinity and recast it as a fallen spirit, a demon to be bound and commanded. The Ars Goetia is not just a directory of demons, it is a prison for the gods of conquered peoples.
And so we close the pages of the world's most infamous grimoire. We journeyed back to a paradoxical age of science and superstition. We unlocked the legend of King Solomon's power and explored the complex feudal hierarchy of hell. We have faced the bizarre forms of its dukes and kings, learned the precise steps of a summoning ritual, and finally decoded the book's greatest secret, that many of its demons were, in fact, the forgotten gods of conquered civilizations, rebranded as monsters. The Ars Goetia is more than just a dusty 17th-century manual for forbidden magic. It is a profound historical document. It is a dark mirror reflecting the ambition, the fear, and the ruthless politics of human belief. It shows us how, in our quest for a single absolute truth, we often turn the sacred gods of others into our own personal devils. The 72 demons are not just pillars of hell, they are pillars of history, reminders of forgotten faiths and the eternal war of ideas.
The knowledge in this book was considered so dangerous it was meant to be locked away forever. But what ancient mystery should we unlock next? The apocalyptic beasts of Revelation, the lost city of Atlantis, or the secrets of the Knights Templar? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the forbidden, please like this video, subscribe to Epic Legends Decoded, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation. Thank you for watching.